So we're at the Real Housewives of Miami finale, and already gossip is leaking about the Real Housewives of Miami season 5 reunion. So I wanted to chat about a few things that have come out. Supposedly, I guess the Peacock shows are much more scripted than just straight up Bravo shows. And this has sort of come out a few times about Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, but I was surprised to hear it about Real Housewives of Miami. I'm going to play you some of the information on this. Also, I'm going to share the Real Housewives of Miami seating chart, which pissed some fans off. And then I'm going to spill a little behind the scenes fighting that's been going on with Miami. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Someday we'll hit 25,000. All right, so I wanted to tell you that in the last few episodes of the show, there is a group trip to the Bahamas, and the big drama really is that Adriana is being iced out by the OGs, which were her friends for many years and cast members in the first few seasons that she was on with them, but also that there are other people in the group that are newbies that are, not really supportive to Adriana either. So she is really feeling insecure, and it's making her very, very messy. And the women are reacting to it as they do. Adriana ends up getting hurt because Kiki and Gertie are so drunk, they fall on Adriana and sprain her foot. And then Adriana is very dramatic about her foot throughout the rest of the trip, which makes the women believe that she's starved for attention and she's trying to get the women to cater to her. The women end up doing the opposite and show very little feeling towards Adriana and her foot. The housewives that to me are coming out with the most empathy, I would guess I'd call it, are Julia and Lisa Hochstein. And that surprises me, but it is. And I'm liking them because I do think they're trying to stay somewhat true to their authentic character, unlike some of the other women who are just kind of going for it. Leah Black from the original series makes an appearance where she helps Lisa Hochstein get over Dr. Lenny because Lisa's really struggling with accepting that her marriage is over. And he's being just horrific to her, I guess, to get the point across. Dr. Lenny's position at this point is, you were always out, you were always gone. Now I've gone out and had my infidelity and you want me back because I'm not here with you anymore. And it's kind of like that's his position. He wants her to honor the prenup and move on. She doesn't want to honor the prenup. Now, one of the more interesting things that came out in the last few episodes was that the cocaine cowboy is out of prison and is hanging out with Alexia's children, trying to reestablish his relationship with them because he's been in jail. And the kids are really happy to see him. I'm sure that was challenging for Alexia to navigate. Another thing I should point out is that don't feel too bad for Adriana because she really came for Alexia hard. Alexia was definitely poking Adriana. Adriana took a really low blow, and she compared the accident of her ankle to Alexia's son's accident, which caused him to forever have a disability, a mental disability that's severe, and he's struggling to recover from that. And it's a really low blow. So I'm not sure Alexia is going to get over that anytime soon. But that also makes me question, again, if this show is somewhat scripted more than what I experienced, then why would they go there? Geez, kind of dark. The OG women don't seem to be wanting to support Adriana being on the show anymore. That's what's really coming across. She's too annoying and they can't stand her. That's, pretty obvious. So we'll just see how it goes. This is what David Portnoy said. He said it on his show and he said it again on Bethany Frankel's show. My closest interaction with Real Housewives franchise. So my house that I own in Montauk, the Real Housewives of Miami rented next door. So I could see what they were doing. I could see that they were redoing scenes, like something would happen and they'd be like, do it again. It looked extremely staged from what I saw across the street. Then he says it seems like they really hated each other. He posted this on his Twitter. Things that wouldn't happen on Nantucket. They are filming The Real Housewives of Miami next door to me right now. I'm snooping through the bushes. Seems very scripted, like very scripted. Now, Snooki went on to say this. She was talking to David about Real Housewives of Miami. Snooki chimed in with her opinion of the seemingly scripted nature of the show and of the franchise in general. Quote, yeah, Housewives is totally scripted, she said, adding that Jersey Shore was a truly authentic affair. Our original show, nothing was manufactured, nothing was scripted. We were in-house 24/7 with cameras in our faces for a full month. Yeah, I don't know. It's Housewives, at least from the Bravo perspective ones, was not totally scripted at all. You were sometimes coached, some people more than others. There were some people not coached at all, but you weren't scripted. There wasn't like, oh, go do this in this scene today. They didn't do that. They would say like maybe make a phone call and ask this person over, or maybe you should go to lunch and talk about what's going on in your life, but they weren't really that scripted. So that at least was the early years. I can tell you that for 1 through 3, for a fact. So maybe they've changed things over time, and Snooki's referring to that. Maybe they're just talking about the Peacock version of the shows. I think they have a different formula. It kind of comes across in the way that the show comes across. I don't think it's a bad thing, by the way, scripted reality TV, because, you know, it does help the people be better performers. You know, it's really hard to go on a show and be entertaining when you don't know what the story is that the producers want to tell. But I do think Snooki should have clarified what season she was talking about. As a whole, Housewives is not really scripted. She's wrong. So I know for a fact because I was on it. What can I tell you? Okay, so let's talk about the reunion now for Real Housewives of Miami season 5. So recently, Andy admitted how he does the seating chart. And I think the way they look at it is kind of like team sports, because Andy over the years have realized that just by the nature of reality TV, people take sides on different issues on a season, and they'll team on someone's side. The fans do. So I think to honor that natural thing that happens with the fans, they create 2 teams at the reunion. So team 1 is Lisa, Larsa, Alexia, Marisol, and Kiki. And the idea behind that is that they all are friendly with each other and hang out and like each other. Then on the other side, the other team, Nicole, Julia, Adriana, and Gertie, they all get along and generally are fighting with the other group, right? So you have to decide which team you like better. So are you team right or are you team left? Okay, on top of that, there's the other concept of how close people sit next to Andy. And supposedly the better the season you have, meaning the more dramatic the season you have, the closer you are to Andy. So for season 5, Nicole and Lisa have earned the top spots for their respective teams, okay? Now, a lot of fans felt that Larsa really brought it and should have been sitting next to Andy. However, I don't agree. I think Lisa Hochstein sharing, you know, her story was real. It was mind-blowing. And even though it didn't create drama from the standpoint of saying difficult things to people, it was the most interesting topic of the season. Alexia supposedly was really pissed that she wasn't closer to Andy. She was like, she felt that she should be where Larsa's at. Andy would argue that Alexia and Marisol are close friends and Lisa and Larsa are close friends. So, you know, Lisa should have Larsa next to her. So that's how he would argue that, so Alexia wouldn't be upset. But supposedly she was upset that she didn't have Larsa's spot next to Andy because she probably thinks that that spot means that housewife did a better job on the season. Alexia feels like she really brought the drama way more than Larsa, even though Larsa's more famous. So by now you've probably heard that Andy Cohen yelled at Larsa during the reunion, and that was because Larsa put down people that weren't married that had children, and I may have even said bastard or something like that in the way that she talked about kids out of wedlock. This really pissed off Andy Cohen because his kids are out of wedlock, like my kid. And so a lot of people, that rubbed the wrong way. And Andy, I think, got triggered and he screamed at Larsa. Then he apologized and said he doesn't like to yell at women and he's sorry he lost his cool. I'm sure he was worried about fan backlash too. You know, a man yelling at a woman, no matter what, is not great on TV. So I'm sure he was conscious of that. This week, Lisa Hochstein was taking pictures with Dr. Ron Miami, I think as a big FU to her ex-husband, Dr. Lenny, because she's dragged him as a plastic surgeon a few times on her Insta feed. But in this particular case, she also might have been getting something done. He had done Larsa. He worked on Larsa. I don't know what he did for her, but that came out. So she must have been introduced by Larsa to Lisa, and then Lisa posted it. Ooh. And Lisa's been getting more serious with her CEO boyfriend. If you want to know more about him, go into my Real Housewives of Miami playlist, and you'll see, you know, there's many videos doing the deep dive on Cocaine Cowboy and Lisa Hochstein and the breakup and all this stuff, who she's dating, blah, blah. Okay, so previous Real Housewives of Miami reality star Anna Kinkokis went on David Yontef Behind the Velvet Rope and said that Marisol was like the devil or something, and that her marriage was fake that she had during COVID, that everybody knows that her husband that she's with is actually part of the LGBTQ community, and that they must be just really good friends that came together. And they also implied that she didn't take care of her mother towards the end of her life. Like, it was so dark. Anyway, let me play you some sound bites.
Yeah. And you said, Anna, and I want your opinion too, but you think, I mean, is this what you just said? You think that Marisol's the thirstiest of them all?
Marisol can suck it. Like, there is no one I hate more on this earth than Marisol Patton. And it's for personal reasons that it's my sister's story.
To me.
Yeah. It's unrelated to my mom, but related to my sister, that she said one of the worst things I've ever heard anyone say in the world. She's demonic. Like, she should go to hell, truly.
Yeah, she's not a good person.
She's a bad person, like a very, very bad person. We call her the rotting corpse. Not only because she literally looks like a rotting corpse, but because she's truly, to her core, rotting.
I mean, the kind of stuff, and obviously I'm not going to repeat it, David, because we both know, that she's the first one to file some kind of, slander.
Okay, I thought I'd adjust the filter to talk about Marisol now.
File it.
Well, no.
We'll prove what she said.
Yes, like, I don't care, but at the same time, there is stuff that I have heard that is just, people would be so shocked, about even with her mom and stuff, and the way that she treated her mom at the end. Like, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard things, and it's like, not clear, but
allegedly,
but I do think that at the core, she is not a good person.
Yeah, this is not a Marisol.
Jeez. Well, they say that her personality, is such that she puts herself ahead of everyone. And so that's why they believe this rumor that maybe she wasn't there for her mom, but they don't know. Okay, let's move forward. Listen to this clip.
Yeah, this is not a Marisol fan club over here.
No, it isn't. And her whole getting married but not really getting married, that poor guy, there are people who say he's gay. I don't know if he's gay. I know he was married to a beautiful woman, which doesn't, usually you have a type, so definitely he doesn't. And I don't know. what the story is. Like, I don't know if that's, it's definitely not a real marriage.
When did she marry him? I can't even remember. Was that wasn't
During
on?
COVID.
So allegedly, during the new series of Real Housewives of Miami being in development, Marisol felt that she needed a man in her storyline in order to be casted for the show. So she told Alexia that she was just going to marry somebody essentially to have this, check mark on her resume for the casting department for Peacock. And Alexia then took it upon herself to gossip to Anna, who she knows hates Marisol, and tell her secret, which is Marisol's marriage is fake and that she only has it for the show for story. Wow, these women. So Anna also said in this interview that Marisol admitted to her that she hires writers for those zingers that she says in her confessional videos. And that is why they use so many of her confessional videos, because she actually has writers teaching her lines, and then she brings them on when they shoot and says them, and they're usually really good. Well, they're good because someone wrote them for her. She memorized them like a script. So those zingers are not her just on the fly coming up with cool things to say that makes you go, wow, she's good at this. Like, no, she actually hires people to help her. In her confessional videos. Oh, come on. What the hell is going on? See, none of these people are really talented. Okay. All right, you guys. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Let me know what you think about the last few episodes of Real Housewives of Miami, the seating chart in the reunion. What team are you on? What do you think about this juicy gossip of Marisol? She was one of the people I was really curious about, because I felt like there was a piece of the story missing with her, especially since we don't see much of her husband on the show, etc. I thought there's a reason for that. Maybe we figured out why. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you next week. Watch my videos if you haven't watched them. Just because you don't think you're interested in a subject doesn't mean it isn't good. Trust me.